everyone, I'm Dr. Sonali and I welcome you all to CSE Core Concepts in the series Data Science with Python. In the previous two videos, we have already understood how can we load and split the data set into the training and testing part. Thereafter, we have discussed about how to handle the categorical data because since the system only understands number, so we have assigned numbers to each of our categories. So let us proceed further. How can we perform model building? But before we could do it, we have to perform feature scaling. Now, what is this feature scaling is that sometimes in our data set, there are various types of attributes. Let's say you have blood pressure, like, so the blood pressure ranges from, let's say, 180, 120, 200. These are the range of the values. Whereas if you talk about the hemoglobin levels, it is in the form of 10.2, 10.3 like that. Understood? So in this case, what happens when you try to create a model based on these data, what happens basically is that some features dominate. Now these are higher values than this. Model does not understand that this is a different type of a category, this is a different type of a category. It will compare these two values and obviously these are going to dominate. So in this case, you get some wrong results and therefore, in order to create a proper model, we are going to scale these features. Scaling these features means normalizing them in a proper range, all of them, okay, so that there is no dominance of one feature. So now this can be done using the standard scalar library. So let us first execute it. So this is our library files which we are going to import. Then we have the load iris. So meanwhile, let it consider. So we can do one thing, we can start writing the code. So for using the standard scalar, what we have to use is that we have to import one module called as standard scalar, right? So for that we are going to, it is in the pre-processing module, import standard scalar. Understood? So you can import the standard scalar. We can do one thing, we can load the iris. Okay, we have splitted the data sets. Now when you want to scale the data, you have to first create an instance of the class standard scalar. Okay, right. Now what you need to do is that you have to map it, right? What you have to map? X values, not the Y values. Y are already considered as categorical. So now X is in the form of X train and X test, right? In this case, the iris data set, if you see the data values, you can see one thing. Let me just show you, okay, how the data looks like here. X train dot head, and let's say 5 values you want to see. Now if you see here, the values are what? Here the values are what? They are not exactly. Okay, 1 minute. First, let me show you the sepal length, sepal width, okay, all are in centimeter. So here there won't be any problem. Understood? But in case the other data sets, it might be a problem. Okay, I will come to it. Wait. So basically, what you need to do is that you have to convert the X trained data into a scaled form by saying X trained scaled. So you are passing scalar, you are calling the scalar dot fit method, fit underscore transform method, and pass the values. Where are the values? In X train. Similarly, you have to also scale the test values. So X scaled is equals to scalar dot fit. Here I am not going to use the fit transform. The reason is that when you use the fit transform for the testing data, sometimes the data leakage occurs and the test data goes to the training data. So in that case, what happens that while model building only you know your test cases, which is not correct, right? So let us execute it. Now this has been converted into scale. But this is just for the purpose of understanding. I am explaining you the feature scaling. Since in this iris dataset you did not see because the values are all in the same category, centimeter. we won't be using this. There is no need to scale them. Here all of them are scaled, all are in the same range. Okay, but later on in the future, if your some values are not in the same range, some values are in the range of 1000, 2000, 3000, some are 10, 20, 30, then in that case you need to do the feature scaling. Okay, so I hope you understood it. Now let us go to train the model. So now our data is ready. We have done all the requirements of data. That is, we have loaded our data. Okay, we have we have broken our data as training and testing data. Okay, we have considered them as training and testing. Now for these data, what we have done, categorical also we have converted them into categorical form, right? And you may require scaling. Wherever you require, we have done it. So now let us create a model and pass our data. That means, like, let us now start the teaching. Okay, so I have certain values or the numericals which I am going to teach. So the model will be learning. Now here in this case, which model we are going to do, which machine learning algorithm we are going to use. So we will be performing regression, because what is our data? Sepal length, sepal width, and petal length, petal width, right? What are the values of the data? If you remember, I have shown these values in my previous videos, right? The data set I have discussed. Please go through that data set if you have missed that video. So it is 1.0, 0.5, this way the data is there. Understood? What are these values? These are all continuous values. Okay, these are all continuous values. But what is the target Y? That will tell you whether the type of the flower is Iris setosa, virginica, or versicolor. For each of them, you have assigned one category number 0, 1, and 2. So what is the nature of the data? X is continuous, okay, and Y is categorical. So in these cases, which algorithm will fit is the logistic regression. Okay, now if it is a linear regression, then your Y should also be continuous. Okay, suppose computing the insurance premium. So that is also continuous numeric output. But if your output is categorical, but the input is continuous, then you go for logistic regression. So if you are not aware of logistic regression, I will put that link in the description box. In my machine learning series, I have explained very nicely about the logistic regression. You can go through it and understand what is logistic regression. Later on, we will also write one more, we will see one more example of logistic regression. Okay, so basically here we are looking at the syntax and all. So from sklearn dot, what we have to do is linear model. From the linear model module, I want to import logistic regression. Okay, so let me give a name to my model. My model name is, let's say, logistic regression LG underscore iris. Okay, I'm creating a model, logistic regression model, to classify my iris data set. Okay, so I will create instance, so logistic regression, you can say. Now here you can give the argument as max iterations. So max iterations is the number of times your model is going to learn from the data. So now how will you do? Logistic model name dot fit under fit. Now you are trying to fit the model in the data. Where is your data? The data is in training data. Okay, you are going to fit your training data. So X train, not scaled. We don't require scaling here. And Y train. Okay, Y train. Okay, so by passing the data, training data, we are going to fit our model, right? We are, by giving you some example numericals, I am going to teach you. So when this happens and this something comes, you can understand that this your model has been created. That means your teaching has been done. Now after we perform your teaching, what do we do is that we test you, okay, to see how much you learned, right? Same thing here, we have trained our model by passing the training data, but now we have to check how much my model has learned by testing it. So testing it means here we call it prediction. Let my model make predictions. So what we generally do is that we give you a question paper. You have to write the answers in a booklet, and those answers will be matched with those of mine. I have the answer key set and I will match your answers with my key set. This is what we do. Same thing we are going to do here is that we are going to create an answer sheet. Let us say my answer sheet is Y prediction, predicted values, right? So what am I going to do is I will call my model iris, LG iris, but I will use the predict function and pass the, I will give the questions. So where are my questions? X test. I am not going to give Y test here. If I give Y test means what? I am giving you the answer key. Okay, I want this X test results to be taken in Y pred. So I have done it. Now if you want to print Y pred, you can print, but it is very less likely that you will hardly understand, because you have to open the data set and check that the first value is 0, second value is 0. This is what is predicted. So instead of checking in this way, what we can do is that we can do evaluation. Evaluation means we can find out, let our system or let our function check Y test with the Y predicted value. Y predicted is what your model did and Y test is what is the actual. Let my system do that. Okay, so for making my system to do that, I have to download some packages or I have to use some packages from sklearn dot metrics. Okay, because these values which will check our evaluation are called as metrics. Import, I want the accuracy score, how much accurate my model is. I want the full classification report. I want something called as a confusion matrix, that is a matrix which will tell me how much is correct and wrong. And I want to display that matrix, so I can import confusion matrix display module also. So all this I have imported from the sklearn package. Okay, just a minute. There is a spelling mistake, classification. Okay, so it is done. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to evaluate. So let us take the accuracy score first. So accuracy score is equals to matrix, I can say, I can just simply say accuracy underscore score, and whose accuracy I want to test? Y test, that is the answer key. I am going to compare the answer key with the ones which my model just predicted, and let us print the accuracy score. So accuracy score is 0.96. Now this you can convert it into percentage also. Now 0.96 accurate means 0.96% correct results. That means what? 100 minus 0.96 is 0.04, means 4% wrong results. Okay, so good accuracy we got. Now we can even print the full classification report. I can even print, let's say, print classification underscore report of whom Y test comma Y prediction. Now if I give simply like this, no, it will work. See, it is not that it will not work. You can see simply it will give you, but you don't understand what is 0, 1, 2. So it is a good practice that you can give some labels. Okay, so you can say target underscore names is equals to iris dot target underscore names. Okay, the target names printed, so it will be good for you. Understood? Right. So let's see Setosa versicolor virginica. Earlier it was 0, 1, 2. That means 0 code is for Setosa versicolor. That is what it has done, the one hot encoding. Okay, and virginica. Now you can see there are certain parameters we are getting: precision, recall, F1 score and support. These are the 4 parameters we get. So Setosa's precision is accuracy is 96%, weighted average is 97%. Setosa precision is 1, recall is 1. What does it mean? That all are correctly predicted. First let me show you one confusion matrix, then it will be very easy for you to understand also the other parameters. Okay, so I will show you how can you do that. So let us first create a confusion matrix. CM is equals to confusion underscore matrix. Whose confusion matrix you want to create? you want to create for y test and y predicted. Okay, now you want to display the confusion matrix. So display is equals to confusion matrix. 1 minute. Confusion matrix display. So matrix CM. Okay, labels you are giving iris of target names and you have to do plotting. But I think I have not yet imported import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. Okay, this I have to do, otherwise plt.show will not work. So you can see a confusion matrix has been created like this. Now what is this confusion matrix showing? You can see this is the true label and this is the predicted ones. Understood? This is the predicted ones. Now you can see here Setosa, this is also Setosa, this is versicolor, this is virginica. Let me just give some yeah, let give us some other color, then it will be easy for you to understand. So for giving a different color, we can write down as cmap is equals to plt dot cm dot blues. Let us do that in some other light colors. Yeah, so you can see this is Setosa, versicolor, and this is virginica. Similarly, row column is also same. Now Setosa, you can see all 15 data were of Setosa and all are predicted correctly. Versicolor, 7 are predicted correctly. 1 is predicted as wrong. This is the actual truly it was a versicolor, but it has been predicted as virginica. Okay, and virginica is all 8 are predicted correctly. Understood? So this is diagonal elements are something which are correctly predicted. Now this reflection is there in the classification report where you can see Setosa is 1, precision is 1, means all are correctly predicted, recall is also 1. Versicolor, all predicted, whichever are predicted, they are correct. Okay, 7 all are predicted are correct. But recall is 0.88. So what is precision and recall? So recall says that out of all actual positive, how many the model find? Okay, actual positives were 8, but model could find 7. But all 7 which are predicted are all correct. Understood? So precision is 1, but the recall value is 0.88. On the other hand, in recall precision, out of all the instances flagged as positive, how many were actually correct? So you can see in virginica column, these are the predicted ones, right? So these are in the virginica column, 9 have been predicted as virginica, but out of them 8 are correct, 1 is wrong. So that is why here the recall value of virginica is 1. Okay, but the precision is 0.89. So you can see how beautifully this matrix has been shown. These are the predicted labels and these are the true labels. So the diagonal elements are something which are correct. Okay. So I hope you understood the whole flow. You can watch these 3 videos, previous 2 and this one. So to understand how can you build a machine learning model. And now from my next video onwards, what we will do is we will pick up one algorithm like a priori algorithm, KNN classifier, naive Bayes, all these algorithms, and we will try to use it in a data set, import it, train it, and we will see how can we run those machine learning models in Python. So don't forget to share, subscribe to this channel, and do stay tuned for the upcoming videos. Thank you.